All right. Well, that was Michigan man Tom Brady on the Let's Go podcast. And I just want to say parenthetically, leave it to Michigan to have the greatest player in NFL history on the roster and have him split time with Drew Henson. Didn't even know what they had. But anyway, Mike Jones is here. And Mike, Tom Brady sounds like he is going to play until he is 50 years old. Did you get that from his comments, or do you think he is just reciting some cliches because that's what you're supposed to say when your team is 5-6 and still has 6 games to play?
No, I think everything he says is real. I mean, look, he's got Giselle out of the way now. He can just keep on playing until, they wheel him off in a wheelchair. So I would not be surprised if, he's still playing at a decent level. Everything around him is not well. The defense is not doing well. Their run game is inconsistent. But Tom Brady, maybe it's not in Tampa. Maybe he finds somewhere else that's got a good situation where he's got another strong defense, potent weapons on offense, good offensive line, and he slides in and continues to play. I don't think he's just talking. He said it.
Hold on. Now,
I'd rather.
Hold on. You said maybe. Well, you said maybe not in Tampa. So give me an example of somebody who would say, "Oh my God, can't wait to bring in our new 46-year-old quarterback next year to lead us to the promised land." What team? We're just spitballing here. What team would be interested?
I mean, we're
in Tom
just
Brady?
spitballing. What if Robert Kraft says, "Hey, Bill Belichick, let's run this thing back one more time"? I don't know. I'm just it's too early right now to know exactly how teams are shaping up. But just listening to Tom Brady right there's definitely doesn't sound like he is, having any indecisiveness about the desire to play football anymore. He still wants to, as he said, "I'd rather lose than not play at all." So again, whether it's Tampa, whether he finds some other situation that's better, we very well could see Tom Brady in 2023.
That sounds like a man who has no home to go to. You said Giselle's out the way. That sounds like a man without an anchor. That sounds like a man who needs a woman in his life to tell him, why are you taking these hits?
No, he's got his anchor. His anchor is football. For some people it's hip hop, and some people it's this or that. Dude, he's addicted to football. He's in love with football. That's his love. And I think that, he's like, hey, he retired the first time not really wanting to. It didn't last long. And now he doesn't have someone asking him every year what he has left to prove. He can just keep on playing freely. And if he feels like he can play at a high level, only got himself to answer to now.
I can think of plenty of things to be addicted to that would actually be good for you. Not getting hit in the jaw. That's just me. That's just me. I get it. Everybody got their vice.
That's true. We're not Tom Brady, None of us are.
That's true.
That's true. A little bit different.
And Tom Brady ain't even Tom Brady no more. Let's just keep it a buck. Like he's
That's
old
right.
Tom
That's
Brady
right.
now. He ain't the old Tom Brady. He's old Tom
Exactly.
Brady. I want to flip it.
Yes.
I want to flip it because I think I look at Kansas City in the AFC and I see that that looks like a team that is far and away better than everybody else, theoretically, right? Is there anybody that's close? Is there a sleeper that you can say, you know what, they can go in the Arrowhead and steal a game, or they can keep it a little close and hope that Mahomes does some magic trickery that goes awry or has a Mahomes meltdown like he had in the AFC Championship game last year? Because I don't see Buffalo being the same team. I don't know if anybody out of the AFC East is really any good. I like Miami. Miami can be good. I just don't know if I trust them that way. Is there anybody else that strikes you as a dark horse in the AFC?
Well, I think when you look at all those teams in the AFC, there's questions about every single one of them, except for Kansas City. It's crazy because we talked about the AFC being a stronger conference and then the NFC, but I feel better about the Eagles. I feel better about the 49ers. The Cowboys are another team that you feel good about. I'm not sure about the Vikings. You can't quite totally believe in them. But as far as the AFC goes, maybe Cincinnati. They have a lot of offensive firepower. They have a good defense. You can't count Buffalo out because Buffalo already won there at Arrowhead this year. Now, that was before Josh Allen hit this slump where he's turning the ball over a lot, and they're kind of, not quite as potent and dominant. We'll see what happens to them down this second half of the season, which is a pretty tough slate. But again, I roll with Patrick Mahomes. I think that you can't bet against that guy. He's the new Tom Brady as far as the guy that you don't want to bet against. But, we'll see. You never know what happens, but I think that they're the best bet to get the Super Bowl out of the AFC.
I'll tell you who's not going to the Super Bowl, and that's the Green Bay Packers. Where are they going is a better question, and where they're going, just big picture. Aaron Rodgers left the game against Philadelphia. Jordan Love came in and looked pretty good. And now Rodgers says, "Hey, I got good news. I'm going to play this weekend. The 4-8 Packers and the 3-9 Bears, the game nobody wants to see, even in Wisconsin or Illinois. Nobody really wants to see that." So what's happening with Aaron Rodgers now and big picture, Mike, as best you can tell?
Well, right now we know that he's old and banged up. The Packers were optimistic when they signed that $150 million extension this past offseason. They bet on him, and they've gambled and they've lost. He is not effective with a broken thumb. Now he's got a rib injury, but talking to people around the league who read his body language, they say he looks like he's checked out. They're not going anywhere. Right now, since he's banged up, use this as the opportunity to say, hey, have a seat. Get healthy. We need to see what we have in Jordan Love because the season is lost, basically. I've talked to some people say, give him one more, game and then make that move. Maybe he does want to go in there and beat the Bears and stick it to their fans one more time because we know he loves beating Chicago. But really, it's time for them to figure out what they have in Jordan Love and move forward. And then the offseason, find a trade partner, find some destination for him to go to if he wants to keep on playing. But this ship with him, as far as like chances to compete for a Super Bowl, that ship has sailed.
Are we being a bit too hasty in writing off Aaron Rodgers? I feel like we had this conversation about him 3 years ago. After the first year of Matt LaFleur, it didn't seem like they were necessarily on the same page. Like the numbers didn't look bad, but Aaron Rodgers didn't look like himself. They drafted Jordan Love instead of drafting like a Justin Jefferson. And then you wind up getting these sort of 2 MVP seasons before this season. Is there another level Aaron Rodgers can come back to, especially when you consider, I think it's, you will know better than me, is it a $60 million cap hit or $30 million cap hit if he's traded before June 1?
Right. But I don't think that he's going to come back to another level. I think we're seeing the decline right here. But when I asked people, look, would somebody really be willing to touch that contract? I heard, yes, somebody's going to be desperate. Really? Somebody's going to feel like they're who? One piece away. I don't know yet. We'll see what happens with the Raiders, with their situation, if their head coach is back. There's not a lot of teams that feel like they're one piece away right now. But a lot can happen between now and January, March. But then also, if it's somewhere that Aaron Rodgers really wants to play, he can always rework his contract to be more cap friendly than what it is right now. So, yeah. But I don't think that they're going. This is not like, before, like you said, when he had Matt LaFleur when they first got there. I mean, they were 13-3 that year. They got to deep playoff run. This one is not going anywhere. And also, again, he doesn't have the weapons around him. And he is not at the point where he can put a team on his back and carry them anymore. He needs help. Offensively, those young guys are okay. But again, he has not looked great. The defense, the pieces that they've put there are not really working well. This whole thing needs to kind of be retooled pretty significantly.
I think, Vinny and Mike, when you think about the words spoken about Deshaun Watson compared to the passes thrown by Deshaun Watson in the last year and a half, 2 years, like the former category is way up here. and the latter is pretty much non-existent. So we get to see it finally on Sunday. And I don't say that in a triumphant sense. It's more, just curiosity of, one, what will he look like when he's on the field? And two, what will the response be in Houston when Deshaun Watson returns to the place where he started his career and where some of his criminal type behavior started to take place or came to light. We hear, Mike, that at least 10 of his accusers will be at the stadium watching that game to make a point to him that they're still here. Well, what do you expect from Deshaun Watson's debut of 2022?
I don't have high expectations for it. I mean, the guy hasn't played football in 2 years. He played in the preseason, and I think he was like 1 for 5 for 7 yards or something like that. Wasn't, it's game speed is way different than practice speed. So he's going to go out there. He might make a couple plays that are, kind of wow plays. He's probably going to struggle. Timing's going to be a little off here and there. He'll probably get booed. There'll be maybe some people with some signs or things like that. But I, like you, am saying finally, so we can kind of, get this whole anticipation out of the way. And, we'll see what he looks like on the field, see if he can help the Browns go on a run late. I think, again, that there will be some rust that he's got to knock off, and it'll take him some time. And realistically, maybe it's next year that the Browns are really competitive with him.
Yeah, I guess they just needed to be, if they were going to think about being competitive, Jacoby Brissett needed to deliver a victory, 1 or 2 more victories for them to be in the conversation. Right?
He wasn't that bad, though. Their defense let him down. Jacoby Brissett, they feel like, talking to people upstairs there, they felt like he did everything they asked of him. The defense wasn't great. They had some injuries on the offensive line, too, but you can't blame Jacoby for this.
All right, Mike
Always
Jones,
blaming the brother, Mike. Always blaming the brother.
Yeah. Hey, Mike Jones. I got no answer to that. That's funny. Thank you. Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.